Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We're about 3 to 4 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, sorry, you can say Victoria's too.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's press conference. My name is Dominic. I am the Development, Marketing, and Operations Director for Dragon Boat BC. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are broadcasting to you from the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. We're honored to have representatives from those communities here with us today and also be part of our announcement that will be coming later on today. I'd like to also acknowledge some of our special guests in attendance. Nikki Sharma, Parliamentary Secretary for Community Development and Nonprofits. Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young, Deputy Mayor from City of Vancouver. Don't believe we have Councillor Balboa here yet, but hopefully she'll be able to make it a little bit later on. Commissioner Stuart McKeon, Chair of the Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation, as well as two of his colleagues, Commissioners John Cooper and John Erwin. Councillors Cynthia and Joyce Williams from Squamish Nation. Catherine Lin, Principal Consultant of the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office. As well, we have many other honored elders, guests, Howland community here, and also tuning in from all over. Thank you so much for joining us today for this very exciting announcement. Today at Concord Pacific, we're very excited to make an important announcement about the 2022 Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival, as well as a very large addition to the festival that will be benefiting generations to come. This has been a very long time coming. We've been working on this since before the pandemic, and throughout the pandemic, this has been one of our key goals. We're very grateful for the support of Concord Pacific and the province of British Columbia, as well as all of our other partners in making today happen. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Nikki Sharma, Parliamentary Secretary for Community Development and Nonprofits, to kick us off.
Hello, everyone. What a wonderful room here. I also wanted to start by acknowledging that I'm on the traditional territory of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam people, and I think about that every day. So I'm the MLA of Vancouver Hastings, and the MLA for this area, Brenda Bailey, unfortunately couldn't make it today, but she does say that she's trying to get a team of MLAs on a dragon boat. So wouldn't that be fun? Stay tuned. But she brings her best wishes and is excited about this announcement as well. So I have the great privilege of representing not-for-profits in BC, and I know that they're all working so hard to build community, help vulnerable people, create the society that's inclusive and welcoming that we want to see in this province. And the Canadian International Dragon Boat Festival Society is just one of these great examples of that. Everybody in Vancouver has a memory of coming down here and seeing the beautiful boats launching and all those excited, joyful people in their dragon boats during the festival. And it offers and it adds so much to our community. So I just want to give a big round of applause to everybody who's a part of making that happen every year. Our government recently announced $3.8 million for capital projects, and that went to over 50 not-for-profit organizations across BC. And that includes the Canadian International Dragon Boat Festival Society. And of that investment, $173,000 helped this organization replace boats. And that was 18 boats that I think we're going to get a glimpse of. Some of the beautiful artwork and the beautiful boats that I was told were made in Germany and are top of their class. So we're very excited about that. And that money was matched by Concord Pacific, and that's a great community partner for helping this festival happen. So I want to appreciate that. And for hosting us here today, which it's always a beautiful view and a beautiful area to be. I just want to say that a little bit more about how much we appreciate the work of this society. We know that the society contributes not only to this beautiful festival every year and the ongoing year-round dragon boat races, but there's something bigger about that. It's cultural connection and bringing people together and helping us bridge sometimes those gaps that help build an anti-racist, a culturally strong and diverse society. And I know just speaking with the crew beforehand and how much that's part of the commitment that they show up in the community every day and try to do. And that includes things like making programs accessible for as many people as they can. So despite your age and economic status and your ability, you can participate in this festival and participate in the community. And I think that shows a lot of strength and leadership. And that's the kind of thing that we're happy to support for the government of BC. So congratulations on that. I know that some of the money goes towards not only the festival, which is open to so many people if you walk down this area, but also the effort that goes to subsidizing races and year-round programming for those people that can't afford to participate in it, and also the summer of paddling camps that bring so many young people to this area. So we're just so pleased and excited about this announcement today. We can't wait to see those boats on the water and the beauty that they will add to this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MLA Sharma, for helping us make that very exciting announcement. Just to reiterate, with the support of Concord Pacific and the government of British Columbia, we have been able to purchase 18 new dragon boats that will be used for the first time at this year's festival. This represents the largest capital investment ever made by the Canadian International Dragon Boat Festival Society in the past 34 years, and we couldn't have done it without the support of our two very important partners. Speaking of very important partners, I would now like to introduce to the stage Mr. Kerry Christensen, President and CEO of Concord Pacific. Concord Pacific has been the title partner of the festival since 2016, but also they have been with us since day one as founding partner of the Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival. So I'd like to introduce him to the stage for some brief remarks.
Welcome everyone to the unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nation. And I'm happy to, pleased to say thank you to the provincial government to be working in partnership with us to purchase this new boat so that it can be shared by the athletes on the water. And I think this is the first, the event coming up is the first full-size event, public event after COVID that the city is that's happening in the city. And I think I'm excited to say that we have new color adding to this dragon boats, right? And we have been in partnership with with this event for 30 years since its inception. And the boats will receive artwork, world-class artwork from Chinese artists in Vancouver, and artists representing also Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. I think Dragon Boat has been always a cultural ambassador event that is being practiced around the world. I think there's nothing more appropriate than have this artist doing this putting this great artwork on the dragon boats to which is really a good way to celebrate our city's diversity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry, for all of your support over the years. It's meant the world to us, and especially during the pandemic, Concord was one of our key partners that helped us keep us going. So we really do thank you for believing in us and for continuing to invest in the festival. Next up, I'd like to invite Deputy Mayor and Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young to the stage from the City of Vancouver.
Thanks, Dominic, and good morning, everybody, on a beautiful Vancouver day. I'm also incredibly grateful for the land acknowledgement as a City of Reconciliation, and I raise my hands to our Indigenous peoples in the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. This is a real pleasure to be here as we see festivals coming back full strength, and I want to thank Concord Pacific and Terry Huey for their vision for this festival for over 3 decades now, bringing this to Vancouver. We are incredibly lucky to have such a rich festival culture here in the city. And I really want to note that the Dragon Boat is not just a sport festival, but it is also a cultural festival, and it bridges sport, culture, and communities and brings people together. When I had a chance to look at this press conference and read some of the information about the boats, I was really excited because when you look at those 18 new boats, 9 artists, I'm going to just go off formal script here, but they're sexy. They look really good. These are beautiful boats. And so I think it is really exciting to see the partnership and the investment in local artists. So not just alongside a sport festival to raise up our local artists
And I think that there's been a long history of our Indigenous peoples on this land since time immemorial, but there's also been a really important relationship and connection between our Chinese community and our Indigenous community, who both suffered historic racism and discrimination. And so to see these positive initiatives and the investment in lifting up art and making it visible in the land and bringing that synergy together and celebration, I think is fantastic. I'm personally really looking forward to the races. Last year I had a chance to call a couple, and I have to admit to being a little bit competitive. It's hard not to get in the moment there. I think Brenda Bailey did potentially invite me to be on her Dragon Boat team, Nikki. So if there's a seat still there, I'm really happy to do that. But I'm really looking forward to everybody having a chance to see these beautiful boats. I know people can come down this weekend and do that. And as a city, we're incredibly grateful to everybody that works so hard to put these festivals on. And I want to give a special acknowledgement and shout out to the entire Dragon Boat BC team, who are all here, Dominic and Alexis, and everybody else that's involved, volunteers year round, who bring people together through sport, not just for those sort of 3 days of intense festival that we see, but all that year-round work, building community behind the scenes, and putting on what appears to be an effortless couple of days for us, but we know a lot of work goes into it. So on behalf of the City of Vancouver Mayor and Council, thank you so much, and we are really looking forward to seeing these beauties unveiled. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Councillor Kirby Young. I look forward to seeing all of you on a Dragon Boat, and it is on camera now, so none of you can escape this one. Speaking of someone that's very familiar with the Dragon Boat, Stuart McKinnon, who I've known for a very long time, previously as a Dragon Boat coach, but now as chair of the park board, I'd like to invite him to the stage for a few brief remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Alexis. This is such an exciting day. I first want to acknowledge and thank our host nations, the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam, for sharing this land with us. I'm so very, very grateful. I am Stuart McKinnon, the chair of the Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation. I'm joined today with fellow commissioners John Cooper and John Irwin. It is so exciting to be welcoming the iconic Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival back to our shores after a 2-year hiatus. I want to begin by thanking the artists and elders who are here today, as well as some of the racers from the community who will be taking part in the competition in a few weeks. As many of you know, the Vancouver Park Board is responsible for looking after the city's 250 public parks and beaches, as well as its network of community centers, swimming pools, golf courses, playgrounds, and much, much more. And it won't surprise you to hear that many of these places play host to hundreds of events every year. In my time as a commissioner with the Park Board, I've spoken at plenty of event unveilings, but I have to say that today's gathering is particularly special to me as it celebrates a sport that's very close to my heart. Dragon boating is a sport that is open to all. It builds community, camaraderie, as well as athleticism. At the age of 50, it's a few years ago now, but at the age of 50, I decided that I would like to try dragon boating. And boy, did I love it. In fact, after just a few times in practicing, I went back to my high school where I taught and said, I need to have my kids doing this. And so we created the Killarney Dragons to participate, and we were welcomed. And the Dragon Boat Festival were so very generous. Speaking of generosity, I would like to personally thank Terry Hui and Concord Pacific for their unflagging and unwavering support of this event over the years. It just wouldn't be the same without Concord Pacific. And thank you so very much for helping to get so many people onto the water, so many kids who wouldn't otherwise be able to participate in sports, thanks to your sponsorship. So it's exciting for me, but it's an enormously exciting opportunity for the city of Vancouver as well. Dragon boat racing has its roots in Canada right here in Vancouver, when the local Chinese community worked together to bring 6 teak dragon boats to Vancouver, courtesy of the Hong Kong government. These boats were used in a series of exhibition races at our famous Expo 86. And since then, the Dragon Boat Festival has run every year, with the exception of the past 2. This year's festival promises to be a truly spectacular occasion and a wonderful opportunity for our diverse communities to come together and reconnect. And I can't wait to see the 18, I'm just overwhelmed, the 18 new racing dragon boats take to the water for the first time. On Saturday, I'll be joining the ancient blessing and eye-dotting ceremony, and I hope that I will be joined by many of you there. But in the meantime, I want to thank you all once again for being here. I look forward to welcoming you back in 2 weeks for what promises to be a fantastic occasion. Dominic, Alex, Terry, congratulations, and thank you so very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Commissioner McKinnon. Next, I'd like to invite the chair of the Canadian International Dragon Boat Festival Society, Peter Wong, to the stage for just a brief remark.
Good morning, everyone. Wow, what a fantastic sized crowd today. On behalf of all the staff, volunteers, and board of directors, I'm Peter Wong, chair of the Dragon Boat Festival. I want to welcome you all. A sincere thank you to the province of British Columbia, Terry Hui, and the Concord Pacific for this very generous, once-in-a-generation opportunity to purchase 18 new dragon boats. I know, Alexis, at all our board meetings, we always talked about having one day, if we ever had a fleet of new boats. What are we going to talk about at our board meetings now? So it's quite something. Maybe another fleet, but I also wish to personally thank all the artists here today and their families and young kids on the creative expression of what Dragon Boat means to our community, greater community, and the festival. I think this is going to be a huge world announcement. So dragon boating is centered at the inception of cultural and sports, and there's no better example of that today. I cannot think of a more perfect expression of this than these beautiful boats that we're about to see shortly. So we are excited for the return of the 2022 Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival on the weekend of June 24th, 25th, and 26th, where we have an exceptional, exciting musical lineup, an expanded cultural pavilions, and of course, the thrilling dragon boat races that we're going to see just outside in a few weekends from now. So we can't wait to see everybody shortly, and thank you very much. And I'll pass it back to Dominique for the arts unveiling. Thank you.
Dust off your paddles. Dust off your paddles. The Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival returns June 24th to 26th at Concord Pacific Place and Falls Creek. Experience the continent's best dragon boat racing, headliner music concerts, and cultural pavilion displays right in the heart of Vancouver. Meet us where culture and sport intersect at the Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival, June 24th to 26th at Falls Creek. With the support of Concord Pacific, the Government of Canada, and the Government of British Columbia. Visit concorddragonboatfestival.ca for more info.
Perfect. So, with these new boats, what went through our minds as we were getting ready to bring them in was that Dragon Boat has existed for thousands of years at this intersection of sport and culture, and we wanted to reflect that as we brought these new boats in. Without culture, Dragon Boat just becomes a really big boat race. Without sport, Dragon Boat becomes a giant cultural festival. And so what we wanted to do was to reflect our community in the true spirit of what Dragon Boat is, and to really bring that to the forefront and to remind all of our racers and our community that it's not ultimately about a medal, even though a medal is great and all. It is about the connections. It's about the community that's being built. It's about the cultures that are being built. And so to reflect that, what we've done is we've gone into the community to invite artists from local Indigenous communities, from the Chinese community, from the queer community, from other POC communities, and invite them all in to be part of this quintessential Vancouver event. We have 3 of these artists here with us today who are going to be speaking briefly. So I'd like to first up invite Catherine Yee and Sean Cowell from the Balboa Artists Association for a quick explanation of their boat.
Thank you, Dominic. I would like to acknowledge that we're on the unceded homeland of Musqueam, Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations. We are, yeah.
My name is Catherine Yi, and this is my fellow artist, Sean Tao. We are Bagua Artist Association, an artist duo that works in Vancouver's Chinatown. We want to take this opportunity to thank the Dragon Boat BC for inviting us to make an artwork. As Chinese Canadian artists, our art practice focuses on our diasporic experience. So when we were invited to create an artwork for Dragon Boat Festival, we naturally wanted to work with the festival's cultural and historical connections.
Our artwork is titled Bedecked with Pearls and Gleaming Jade. The title comes from Qu Yuan's poem Crossing the River, which is also the purpose that we're gathering here today, right? To celebrate the sport that crosses the waters of Vancouver's Falls Creek. As many of you may know, Qu Yuan is an important poet in Chinese history, whose death has led to many Dragon Boat Festival traditions, such as Dragon Boat racing and Yiting Zong. In the poem, Qu Yuan conjured up an image of himself dressing in jewels and precious gemstones. Symbolically, gemstones represent high virtues and character that are perceived as good luck charms, as well as instruments that attract good and positive energy. So therefore, we made a digital painting of gemstones, jade, and pearls that are connected by a 5-color thread to make it look like a dragon boat that is embellished with this pearls and jade. The 5-color thread is a traditional bracelet worn on the day of Dragon Boat in many places that celebrate this occasion. The reason why people wear this bracelet is because it's a message for blessing of good fortune and drives away illness. That's what we need for the past 3 years, driving away illness. Embodying the importance of harmonious coexistence and diversity in our community. We also see the artwork as a protection charm that carries a message of blessing and good intention for our dear Dragon Boat athletes. So we're honored to be part of this crossover between art and sport, and can't wait to see the review of the new fleet of Dragon Boats, as well as wonderful artworks by 9 different artists who have totally different, diverse backgrounds and living experiences. Thank you.
Perfect. And so as we curated this collection of artwork, and as we invited artists to come in to create artwork for these boats, we wanted to make sure that it really reflected a wide range of local talent. And so we have art from traditional backgrounds, but we also have art that leans into the more modern. And so I'd like to invite Kerry Christensen to come up here to explain her boat.
I'd like to say thank you to Dominic and to the Dragon Boat Society for including me in this project, which allows me to give back to the community through my artwork, which is mostly an expression of my deep love for the landscape and the province that I live in. My artwork as a printmaker, all of my artwork reflects my printmaking practice, and my approach to the boat was to somehow embrace that landscape, which I think is something that unites all cultures. So thank you.
Perfect. And as the artists are being introduced, you'll see as well that on this big screen behind me, you'll see the preview of the art, which you'll be seeing shortly outside as well on the actual boats. Lastly, I'd like to introduce a innovator in the digital art world in Vancouver, kind of reflecting all kinds of different practices and all kinds of different artists in Vancouver. I'd like to invite Carson King from Chairman Ting Industries to come up here for remarks.
Hi, thank you for having me. First and foremost, I'd like to also just acknowledge that we are on unceded territory for the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And I also want to thank Dominic and the BC Dragon Boat Society for having me be part of this really exciting event. My mom is especially more excited. She's not here today. She's in Hong Kong, but she kept asking me when this is going to happen. But I just wanted to maybe talk a little bit about the art. I go by the name of Chairman Ting. I do a lot of murals in the city. I'm just very, very grateful to be here to be able to contribute to the society, contribute to the community with my art. And I brought in basically a collection that I created back in January of 888 billion buns. They are a NFT collection, which is where we bridge the technology, art, and into the sport. The collection is basically a creation to celebrate diversity. Every single bun on the boat is different to reflect everyone in society, how we're all very different, but we're all striving towards one common goal, and to really try to embrace diversity and working together and moving towards one common goal, which is, harmony and happiness. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. There are other artists as well that are in the room, and we will be inviting them to join us outside when we unveil the boats in a few short minutes. Today, we've been focused very much on this amazing announcement of 18 new dragon boats, as well as the artwork that goes with it. But we absolutely would be remiss if we didn't talk about the festival itself, where these boats will be raised. So this year we have 130 teams from across Canada and the US that will be joining us here on the waters of False Creek across multiple divisions. Everyone ranging from youth to seniors, highly competitive teams, to people that are just going out and paddling for fun. That's the magic of Dragon Boat. It brings everyone together, and we're very excited to welcome them to the water in our brand new fleet of boats in just about 2 weeks. On top of that, though, we always want to emphasize the culture, and so this year we're very pleased to also have our headliner lineup put out for display. So this year, our music lineup will feature the Zolas as our headliner, plus Hotel Mira, Movi, as well as Desiree Dawson. Our lineup is completely local. We're pleased to represent the best of Vancouver in everything that we do. On top of that, we have 4 cultural displays across the site. We will be launching an expanded Chinese cultural pavilion along with our partners in Chinatown. We will be creating an Indigenous cultural pavilion to respect the fact that these territories have and continue to be occupied by the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people, and to provide a platform for them to share their message to the world as we invite people into these territories. As well, this year, we are adding a new Paddlers of Breast Canada Breast Cancer Pavilion. Breast cancer paddling started in Vancouver 26 years ago because of research done at UBC by Dr. Don McKenzie, and this year, 19 teams from every province across Canada, except for Newfoundland and Labrador, we're working on that one, will be reuniting here in Vancouver to where breast cancer paddling started in 1996. And finally, thanks to the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, we will have one of the original Expo 86 teak boats that were donated out on display to connect past and present right here on False Creek. All in all, I think there's a lot to do. There's a lot to see. Vancouver is ready to welcome everyone back. We're ready to welcome everyone back to the Concord Pacific Dragon Boat Festival, June 24th to 26th. And with that, I will invite media to join us outside, as well as artists and all of our other dignitaries, to unveil the boats. We will be proceeding in clusters. There are tents set up outside as it is a little bit wet. For those of you joining us on the live stream will turn off for just a moment as we reposition the camera outside, but please stay tuned as we unveil the boats. Thank you very much.